Upload to chat. All right. All right. I guess this will do. All right. First quarter roll of 3 or 4, I guess, tonight. Don't look like there's anything standing out. We're here and see what we start to get. FTB. $95. Let's see if I can bring that in a little bit. One. Four. Oh, there's a 2009. We'll give it. Marina Islands. 2009. So quarter roll 1 hit. 88. 73. And what's that, a 2005? Or no, that's a 2022. Don't look like there's any die chips. I think I can maybe get a little closer. (2020) 96D. Another 2009 Virgin Islands. I'm gonna give that one the hit too. And I lost the light. Oh, there it goes. (23) 13 Great Basin. 21. Don't look like there's any die chip in the hat. Another 21. No die chip in the hat. None along the sleeve. 23. 82. Well worn. A lot of 21s in this roll. And there's a 99D. One year off. Always 1 year off. D99. '83, well worn. There's an 05 Minnesota. Denver. They're really nice. I keep them. 23. '25. Denver. '06 Nevada. '85. Little chip out of the top there. Uh, 2000. '17 Rogers Clark. Okay. Nothing there. '16. 2 down in the first roll. 2000 and another 2000. All right. Roll of quarters number 2. Fast status. Welcome in. What's new? You ever been in my room before? You ever been in a stream before? I think I've seen your name. NBA champion? No, nothing wrong with that. Oh, look it! I didn't know I had Streamlabs hooked up, and it looks like it automatically connected. I love coin rolling. I'm a big coin collector and stuff. Don't look like there's anything there that's probably gonna be too exciting on the silver front. Oh, you like the 50-cent pieces. Yeah, I save them, but I typically don't hunt them. I do a lot of hunting of nickels are probably, well, small dollars are actually my favorite. I'm a big Susan B. Anthony collector. And I like the presidential dollars, even though a lot of people hate them. I do like the presidential dollars. And then it's probably nickels and then quarters. Quarters are so much fun because there's so much to look for as far as the die chips and stuff. So quarters probably come in third. I absolutely despise dimes. How's the sound fast? If you're still in here. You hear okay and stuff? Audio seems to be. So I basically set up a whole new computer system and stuff here because the computer I was running off of flat out crashed on me. And so I had to go to my old computer, completely reset everything up. OBS and the whole works. And I don't know, this is the first stream off the new stuff, so off the new setup. Kind of changed a couple camera setups. I can easily now flip over and switch to my scope cam, which is nice. 73. I don't see no extra leaf. Still always nice state of Wisconsin. 88. $90. Juliet Gordon low. I don't see a die chip in the hat. $2,000 Philly. $18 Apostle Islands. We always like getting the Wisconsin ones because we're close to there. I do. $1,001. Some gunk on there. And I don't know what it is. Been a long time. What's an easy, rare modern quarter to look for? For like a die chip, like an air quarter? There's a ton of them that would be like fairly easily found die chips. I wouldn't say fairly easy, I guess. I mean, there's probably none that are really easy. You do have to put your time in the rolls, to find the die chip or, a double die. I'm trying to think on the quarter side what a fairly common die chip would be. So like this one, I've found two of these where right up here in the tower up here, you can find a die chip, but I don't believe this one's got it just from looking at it. I'll switch over quick. I usually wait until I get all my rolls done before I switch over to my scope, but this could be there could be a small die chip there, but I don't think I saw it. Yeah, see right there. Right there I found a nice big one in there, about a week ago. In fact, I think that was the one that sold the other day, if I'm not mistaken. I think I sold that one. It was a better size one. I'm trying to think what an easy quarter. Investable, yo. Hey, silver selling machine. Yeah, I scope. I mean, probably not on stream, but I scope every coin that comes through our house. Between my son's coins, he always gives me coins. Every coin gets thrown under the scope at some point. I'm a big die chip. There's a 76 bicentennial. I'm a big die chip hunter. Die crack. Cracks are a little less common than chips, so it's always cool to find a die crack. Yep. So you and me are the same, Silver. Every single coin ends up hitting the scope at some extent, even if there isn't like a known documented chip or crack or a double die to look for. Because I tend to find a lot of they're just anomalies. They're not huge by any means, but you can almost find a die chip on a lot of coins. I find a ton on nickels, but that's because I'm such a huge nickel collector too. So when I'm searching nickels, they'll call it the beehive or the left side of the Monticello building. If you find one on the right side, I don't find many on the right side of the building. A lot on the Phillies. And then for some reason I've been running into a lot of die chips in the O of Monticello on nickels that are in the teens, essentially. See, I hate Roosevelts. I hate dimes. I think it's just because they're too small for my old eyes. So I kind of quit, I don't really collect anything in the dime area. So here, I don't know if you're still in here, fast status, but here's a good one on a quarter to look for. And this one's pretty searchable. You typically find it quite a bit, but you will either see a die chip down here, which they call the leaky bucket. And you can have die chips anywhere around the bucket, really. You'll be able to find some with essentially a double die in the windows. And then you can find what they call snow on the roofs, which are die chips up on the roof. This one obviously has none, but that's a well-known die chip chase. But I didn't see anything on that one. I like Lincoln Cents though. I don't know if you were in here, Silver, but I was telling Fast Status there that in my collecting and roll searching, small dollars are number one because I'm a huge Susan B. Anthony collector, and I'm a big Susan B. Anthony fan. Then it would be nickels, Jefferson, Buffaloes, whatever you want, and then I think it goes to quarters, and then probably my fourth favorite is cents or pennies. But like I said, I'm just, yeah, investable. I was just saying, it's a new setup. The computer I was running for I don't know how long ended up crashing out on me. So I'm like, well, I got to do something. And I had this backup computer kind of hanging out. So I was like, well, let's fire it up. Let's put all the equipment and the cameras. Too bad that ain't a W. On the old computer and see if we can make a new setup work. I can now easily switch because of this new setup. I can easily switch from, like, basically this is like my coin cam, I kind of call it, and then I can easily just with the click of the button go over and get on the scope. Where remember before Investable where I basically had to like change my whole setup in midstream, and I did all the scoping at the end, and it wasn't quite this convenient, where this is very convenient now, where I basically can go from this overhead view to the coin cam to the scope. So I actually think I like this setup a little bit better. Now, the one thing that I didn't do yet, which I don't know if I'm going to even, is I did not set up any of the background music that I usually have playing, because I just don't know if I'm that into getting that fancy with the setup. Now, I'm gonna pop on when I pop on, do 8 to 10 rolls of a search, and see what we can find, and then pop off. No big production really. Whether I do morning streams or I popped on this evening just to see how the setup was going to work, and if I was going to like this. I wasn't sure Streamlabs was going to connect to the fact that I switched. Wow, look at that. That looks like a 95, but it went through something on the hours. I wasn't sure what Streamlabs was going to connect. Yeah, I like the setup actually. Hey, how does the sound, Investable? You're always my sound guy. My mic, because I actually switched mics too and stuff, so 66, there's 2 years off. Sound seem to be okay in the new setup and stuff. I guess for whoever's here. Full steps magnet sounds great. Okay, perfect. Because that's the other thing. Well, you've heard me say it before, Investable. I don't do any sound check. I don't wear any earplugs to listen back. Wow, look at the toning on that. Although I don't know if wow, it is toning though. That is really toned, but it's been really rubbed down with something or somehow. Really no toning on the Alvars, but it's got some. I don't even know. I might even say that's not natural. I don't know. I don't know if this camera is going to pick it up really. This camera almost looks like it was heat. If that makes any sense. I don't know where I got to get to. Kind of a cool find, but very. Let's look at the scope. Yeah, see, very rubbed down. Very rubbed down. But you can see how it's got gold toning. Try to get a little bit of focus for the stream. Interesting. Very interesting on that one. Might be the interesting find of the night. I have a sealed roll of Liberty V nickels bought on auction. Oh, the sound will cut out when I switch scenes, cameras, but then comes back on once I get into that camera view. The sound comes back. It looks like it from my controls. It looks like the audio is catching me. Did you buy that roll of nickels on Whatnot, Investable? Yeah, silver. That's. I was thinking it kind of had a heat treated look. 72D. No silver Stardust. I come within 1 year on one of these quarters so far. 1965. Seems like it's always 1 year off for me. Oh, out of a Facebook group. I am in northern Minnesota, but I am about a half an hour to the west of the Wisconsin state line. So I can be in Wisconsin essentially at the tip of Lake Superior in the Duluth Superior area in under a half hour. What was that? That was a D. All right. So basically, I'm thinking, unless this next quarter roll has any type of hit in it, I might be looking at the 2009s that I hit right at the beginning. Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, geez, I would think it'd be more even though if this truly was in a fire. But that definitely looks heat touched. If if you ask me. All right, I figured I'd do 4 quarter rolls tonight, and what did I pull off from my other desk there? Five nickel rolls. Just to fire this whole streaming system up again and see if it was gonna work all right for me. I guess it is working. You guys are saying the sound in the video looked good. I'm not gonna worry about things. I'm just gonna pop on occasionally and do some hunts. I'm really keyed that Streamlabs just automatically reconnected to my YouTube account, I guess. That one, well, that one was just something that had a little bit of stuff on it. Looked a little different, I guess. There's a little dark one right up here, but I don't think that's going to be anything. I think we're going to end up being 2009s might be what we get. I'm going to move my chat over to here because maybe it won't disappear then. Every time I change scenes, my chat window ends up taking off on me. What's that, 84? And then I completely changed my Whatnot setup to where now I can kind of just sit on Whatnot because I don't do any auctions on Whatnot. I can just sit on Whatnot and basically scope through coins as people come through, and I just do bin sale is all I do on Whatnot. You buy it now, and if somebody wants to see something, they can ask to see something, and I'll pull it out and give a close look. Corroded 21. But I don't mind sitting on Whatnot because you can actually play real music on Whatnot. So it's kind of nice just to sit at the desk. And 67. Oh, man. Just can't quite get it. That's looking like an 84 without going to the scope. 83. Be nice if you could find these in better shape, but that damage down there, yeah, that's going to be damage. 66. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Come on. $95. Yeah, the 4 quarter rolls tonight, I think are going to be pretty sad. 71. Nothing really on a nice uncirculated side of things either. 95. Yeah, I was going to say, somebody try the commands. 'Cause I'm not sure if those work or not. You might have to put a space between the one there, Silver Machine. Oh, actually, wait a second here, Silver. I think you need at least 10 to I think it requires at least 10 coins. So there, I just upped your coins. Now you should be able to run slots. I'm thinking. Try the exclamation. Try the X. Well, I just upped you to 10. You had 6. I just upped you to 10. Try the exclamation slots space and bet your whole 10. 68. And that, I'm hoping, is going to probably... Nobody has tried a command yet, so that's kind of cool. If somebody wants to try to command, see if my commands are working. And I changed points to coins, remember, Investable? Just because we're all coin collectors. So I changed the term points to coins, I do believe. All right, well, slots work. Silver selling got slots to work. Penny, dollar, penny. No die chip in the air. Like to find a business strike S again. That's what I'd really like to find. It's a business strike San Francisco. 92. Oh, we only got a couple left. Quarters for the night. 16. Oh, there we go. $61. It looked a little different as I was coming up to it. It did look a little different as I was coming up to it. Silver, we might as well give it... We gotta give it the 2 shots. Silver gets 2 shots. Yeah, W would be nice too, for sure. Let's give it a quick look here. See if there's anything other than the fact of it being silver. No die chips or anything. A lot of the double die stuff I don't know off the top of my head. I have to go to my Strike It Rich book or with the Cherry Picker's Guide or something like that. You know, but I typically will only do it if I think I see a double die. You know, or something that is obviously like machine doubling that looks like it maybe could be. I try to see if there's an actual known situation with it. So the 61 Denver. But definitely a hit. Last quarter roll of the night. So that's pretty cool. 67's the next coin. Wow. That's the one that had that purple stuff on I saw on the edge. Somebody's bubble gum. Yeah, I have not hunted a W quarter yet myself. I believe that they're a tougher pull than silver, obviously. $22, three more quarters left. 78. And a Denver, not a bad looking Denver. It's got a little bit of circulation on it. That one outside you can a little bit worse. And the last one is a 08. So, all right, a little bit of review for the quarter night. What I do, 4 rolls? Yeah, 4 rolls of quarters. So Virgin Islands 09. A Philly Northern Mariana Islands 09. Circulated. And then probably the hit so far, the 61. 61 has a repunched mint mark. Okay, well that's. I didn't see it. I think there's too. I think there's too much circulation. Yeah, see, there's no way to pick out a repunch mint mark on that. All right, what did I pull? Five nickel rolls for the night, and then we'll call it a night. Investable, you still hanging out? Are you going to crack that V-nickel roll then? Or are you just leaving it sealed? What is going on here? Usually my glove is good enough to catch the edge and pull the... There we go. Alright, anything going to look different? There's one dark one in there, but I don't think it's dark enough to consider it silver. And Vestable's still here. Oh, 03. So now, a lot of times you can find that left side die chip just with your naked eye. You don't even need the scope half the time for left side die chips on the Monticello. A little bit of a double rim there on a 90. Most likely going to let them breathe. Probably not a bad thing. 79D from the looks of it. So I don't know who's hanging out, but if you weren't around the channel before I made the equipment changes and stuff, 59s and earlier are hits in the nickel hunts. I tend to keep a lot of 60s, but as I say it, I hit one. But I don't typically consider them hits. Let's check the mint mark on that. Nah, I don't think... I don't think I see anything on that one. I don't. 90. Does this view seem okay too? Like 74. Seem clear as I'm going through these. It seems, at least in my screen and stuff, it seems to focus okay and gives a good sharp visual. That's obviously an ender at some point. $98. Well, that's an ender too. Crispy clear, perfect. You know, the funny thing is, Investable, when my other computer went down, I was like, you know, I don't even know if I'm gonna like work on a new setup. I may just shut the old YouTube right down. But I did enjoy getting on and BSing with anybody who came and hung out, you know, for whatever it took me to do a couple rolls. So I'm like, I'll fire up the, see if I can get a new system to work. 87D. 70. I knew it looked a little older. Wasn't sure how old it was going to be. $85. 64, probably a Denver. Oh, no, that's a Philly. This one looks a little older. 1940, there we go. I should pull up. Forgot to do this. 1940. I should pull up. I usually have this up ready for me to look at to see which one we want typically the most. Well, we definitely want the S as the lowest, or the Denver. Philly's 176, and it's a Philly, so. But it does go in our 1940 tube, so that's a good find. We'll take a look at that under the scope when we're done with the rolls. 79. $90. My eye always goes to the left side of the Monticello now because the die chips are so prevalent. Not so much in the 90s and the early 2000s, but definitely in the teens and stuff. You can usually find quite a few of them. I think I have a couple of them listed on my whatnot actually, that are nicer die chips. $22. Well, now that I know my new system's going to work, I can get up in the morning and get a cup of coffee and hit the stream button and do a couple rolls in the morning, maybe some in the evening like this, and 13 Philly. And another 64. I always guess Denver because that's the more likely. Was an ender at one point, it looks like. And definitely cannot see a repunchment mark on that. 3 more in this roll. And 1 more, 21. Hey, thanks, Silver. That's cool. Much appreciated. I don't have any plans on being big. I just like to hang out and collect coins and cards. Coins and cards, I'm a big comic guy too, but I don't essentially sell any comics. I just truly collect them. I might have one comic listed. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I appreciate that follow and stuff. And nothing looking extremely dark. But we did get a 40 out of the last roll, so maybe we'll Go 2 for 2. I wasn't sure if you're still hanging out there, machine. 02. Like I said, we'll scope some. I'll scope some coins. Do races for silver, gold, graded coins. Are you on Whatnot, Silver? If you followed on Whatnot, obviously you're on it. But do you sell on it? Do you stream? Because if you followed on Whatnot and you stream, I'll follow you. Not yet? Okay. I was going to say I'll follow you back because it'll give me a notification that you followed. Are you the same name on Whatnot as you are on YouTube here? Hey, there's a 25. Probably not in any condition worth setting aside. If you know nickels, you know we're looking for, always going to set aside a 2024. Another 64D? Yep. Another Denver. I'm just going to check that mint mark quick. If it looks like there's some discussion to be had, I'll switch you guys over. 57. So in 57, I don't know if there's one extremely low or not. Let's see. Philly we want for 39. We want a Philly for 39 million. Denver's 136, and it's a Denver, but still gets our hit. So we're 2 for 2 on the nickel rolls so far. And we went 2 for 4 on quarters. It's 4 inch 44 something. Well, I'll see it when I check my Whatnot account. As it tells you every time somebody follows. It's kind of a nicer looking 15, but I'm not going to set it aside. 63 Denver. 15 obviously was an ender at some point. Does my vocal volume seem loud enough? I mean, granted, anybody watching can turn the volume up. But does it just seem like it's at a decent level? I like it. I like my mic to kind of be to the point where I don't have to scream, or where I don't feel like I have to scream. Investible said it all was going good, so I trust Investible. He's been with me for a long, long time. 1964, Philly. 83 Denver. No steps on that. 20 Denver. I should have grabbed a coffee before hitting the live button, but we'll finish these nickels and it's good. He's right. Okay, perfect. We'll finish these couple nickel rolls for the night, call it a night, and maybe do something tomorrow morning or something. This looked older. Ooh, 62. Didn't make it into our 59 or better for the old hit button. 3. 19. Speared buffalo, no. And you can also now look for the die chip that's right between the E and the R on America, and they're calling it the extra horn. Silverman 92, hey, hello. I don't see the extra horn either, so we're going to keep going. 20D. Sometimes through the camera I can actually pick up the die chip in the O of Monticello there, but a lot of times it takes the scope. 64, kind of a nice looking 64. Not a dull one like you see them. Kind of a little bit nicer looking one. I don't know. This might be a set aside. And it's definitely obviously got circulation on it, but still got luster. See, something in like this, I would expect, if it had the repunched mint mark, you could probably have picked it up on a 64 in this condition. And that probably gets set aside, and it's not a hit, but it probably eventually hits the 64, 1964 Denver tube that I keep. $70S. I keep all my S's. I don't know, about most collectors in general, but I do keep all my S's. I think this is pretty high mintage, but there's just something about keeping San Francisco strikes that you kind of feel like you should. What's that? 91, 91. Two more in this roll. Looks like fairly modern. And a 77. Oh, for a second there, I thought that was like die chipping or die cracks. And I'm like, well, if that's die crack, yeah, it was a fiber or something. I was like, well, that's a hell of a die crack. That's what it is. All right, 3 left. 2 Monticellos on the ends. The strike's done right. Nothing looking overly... The lighting is not great on this overhead shot, but I guess it's good enough to see if something looks like it stands out. Lighting's actually better once you get down towards the desk mat, I think. Alright. Roll number 3 of 5. I'm going to have a lot of scoping to do after this. 75D, not the high D. Everybody's familiar with the fact that you can find that Denver mint mark way up here, which would be the high. High place D or whatever they call it. Investable. I was going to ask, is it too boring without the background tunes that I had going? in the old system? Or is this okay? To me, it seems quiet. It just seems like there's a quietness that I'm not used to because I in the past have had that music going, you know, that royalty-free music. Although I kind of like it quiet like this too. I mean, there's a calmness about it, I guess. Someday maybe I'll put the playlist back together. I don't know. Like I said, I just kind of like. Oh, that was just the lighting. Good, but yes, it's quiet. Yeah, I mean it's. I guess it's odd. It's just kind of an odd thing for me to not have music going because I've always been used to having the music in the background. But like I said, I mean, I'd rather do lives than real, like do a video of coin roll hunting. I will cut out the like I always do. I will cut out the hits out of the live and create the bangers video to post on the channel, which will just highlight uh, the hits out of the rolls. 47, there we go. 1947. What are we looking for 47? J6 Metals. Welcome in. What are we looking for 47? Well, the Denver's 37. The San Francisco's 24. And the Philly's 95. So we're under 100 regardless. We're under 100 regardless. And it is the Philly. So we've gone 3 for 3 as for hits, though, as far as the rolls are concerned. We've had a hit in each of the first 3 rolls. That's better than I sometimes do. $64. I don't know if I'm showing my age or not, but I have no idea what hashtag PIF is. $2,000D. Ooh, I almost passed it by. 24. I think you got to give a 2024 a hit, right? 2024's got to be a hit, doesn't it? With the mintages? I mean, it's circulated, but it's still 24. I almost flipped right by it. Silver, so me either. Alright, then I don't feel so bad. $94, well circulated. That looks like blood. Tell you the truth. Well, we'll have a couple bangers to be able to turn out a bangers video to post on the channel. A short short recap video. That's typically what I do is I'll take and recap them. Any of them that end up being hits end up in the bangers video. What I didn't ask is how is the buffering? Has anybody got buffering going on, or is my connection pretty good? Of course, you never know when somebody says you're buffering. You never know if it's their Wi-Fi. We got a dirty something. Looks like it's been in water. Oh, it's been more than water. It's sort of like a 96. That is definitely looks like water. And then a pretty shiny 96 right after it. At least on the obverse, it's still got some sheen there. All right, down to 2. Down to 2. What are we on time-wise for stream right now? About just over an hour, so that's not a bad. We'll be pushing an hour and 30, hour and 40 minutes, I'm guessing, by the time I'm done BSing and getting through 2 more nickel rolls. We'll have to open a pack of cards before we call it a night, because we always do that. I don't know if Investable's still here. Investable's usually hanging out, lurking in the background, but Investable knows we always do a pack of cards of some sort, whether it's a football pack or a Magic pack or WNBA. We got an older looking ender. And it looks like, oh, it's a 70S. Look at that. You can tell right off there. So we're going to be keeping an ender right away. And the other one looks new. I always like to do a pack of cards at the end of the night. Keeper, yep. I think this is it right here. 70S. Kind of a gray coin, but it will be a keeper. Not a hit, but definitely a keeper. 12s are very, sometimes you can find a die chip on a 12. 23. And I'll burn through these here once there's something good to look at. 95. 82. I thought it was 62 for a second. Is there a little bit of rotation on that? Or is that just me? No, that's just me. Oh, that could be it. That could be it. Never thought of that. That makes sense. Could be. 79. I always just try to give it the naked eye look on the reverse too, just to make sure that like there's something not glaringly standing out like a big, cud on the edge or something like that. Not that I wouldn't find it later on as I go through them, but I think you always got to just give it the flip. So like here, you always look for the speared buffalo, and then I give it a turn, see if there looks like there maybe is the extra horn. $89p. I'm gonna have to make a bank run and pick up a handful more rolls. So 64, I'm gonna guess D, and I'm right. It's always the safe bet, in my opinion. 57, and not a bad looking one. And let's look at 57 real quick. I think we had said 57 already tonight. There's only P and D. You want the Philly at 39. And it's the Denver. But 4 for 4 on the nickel rolls when it comes to hits. So that's a good nickel night. We'll call it a nickel night. I guess it wasn't an overly good looking 57, but better than some of them come across, I guess. I'm really kind of surprised I haven't just naked eye wise picked up a left side Monticello chip. Sometimes you don't catch them with the naked eye. They got to be a pretty good chip to stand out. 81B. I got a whatnot package I should open tonight too before I jump off the stream. We'll do a unboxing. Philly 64. I think it's a card though. I don't think it's a coin. I think I ordered a card. Bought a card from somebody. 76. I never understood. I don't know if anybody's still here hanging out. I mean, it might just be me talking. I never understood why they didn't do anything bicentennial with the 76 nickel. Did they miss an opportunity there? I mean, they did it this year for the 26s, but ender at some point. All right, here's the question. Last nickel roll of the night. So we did 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 hit out of each one of them. 2 hits out of the third. Can we go? Yeah, I never believe that number. It says 7 for me right now on my dashboard. I think it's well wrong. Usually I don't have more than 3 people in here. A lot of times it's me and Investable just hanging out, just shooting the BS. This would be a good night if we could go 5 for 5 on the nickel rolls. We did what? 4 quarter rolls. Only went 2 for 4. But the one was a silver, so that kind of makes up for it. I don't know, maybe there's lurkers silver. Oh, Jimmy Ruger says he's present, so maybe there is some lurkers. Like before I changed this setup and stuff, there'd be 2-hour streams. Me and Investable Collectibles would just hang out together by ourselves. Half the time I was talking to myself. And I'd be like, hey, Investable, you still around? And he'd give me a little emoji or something, just letting me know he's hanging out in the background. All right, let's see. What do we got? Nothing for color. These look a little bit older. I don't think the camera's going to show it. But there's some age on some of these, I think. So maybe we can go 5 for 5. 64 is a good start, but it's not a hit. 74, yeah, see, we're staying a little bit old. I'm guessing there's going to be some new stuff, but this looked like it had some age color. There we go. Investable Collectible. Give him the old wave. I usually just assume he's lurking, and like if I need to like get somebody's opinion on a coin or something, I'll say, hey, Investable, you still hanging around? And we'll throw it under the scope, and I know he's always around probably for an opinion. From Gabby's comments. I don't know what that's referring to, Ruger. Or Jimmy. Or are you calling me Gabby? I'm kind of Gabby when it comes to coins. Or are you referring to somebody who is actually Gabby? Found channel from Gabby's comments. Oh, Two Sheds Gabby. I should have figured that. I love watching Two Sheds Gabby. He's actually probably one of my favorite channels. I don't really comment a lot on his channel. I'll give him a bunch of trees and a thumbs up usually. So you found it from one of my comments on Gad Two Sheds channel. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. I watch every video he puts out. I think he's a good guy, boy. He's another one, that I just think is like, is that a little die chip? I don't know. Let's take a look. I don't think it is. I think it's a scratch. I think it's a scratch. Nope. That is the beginning of a little die chip. But that's not a savable one. But that is the beginning of a little die chip there, for sure. On what? A 17 Philly, yep. 17, 18, 19. Well, I picked my name because I am very backwoods. I love being in the woods. And I mean, if you watch any of the channel going forward and stuff, you're gonna see stuff out at our property and our land and out at our hunting shack, and but most of the channel is coins. Most of the channel is coins and cards. 18p. What's the chances? Oh, here's another one. I think is the start of one. Yep. Another one, and I forget to change that. Yes, Gabby is very, very down to earth. That's why I like him. He's not trying to be anything that he's not trying to be anything other than who he is, My camera went out. You turn the battery on. So that is the start of probably a very good die chip, and it is one right there. I think I might set this aside just for the sake of doing it. Let's look at the letters a little quick. Very rarely will you find anything up in the E pluribus unum. I'm just going to set that aside. It's not a big hit. It's not a big chip, but it is a good find. I was going to say, does your name come from Ruger the Guns? One of my favorite Ruger is, I'm guessing you're probably going to be familiar with it. So to give you some back info on me, is I grew up as a competitive rifle shooter, so I'm big into guns and rifles and stuff. And but one of I think my favorite Rugers is that 44 carbine, the one that if you weren't up close to it, you weren't handling it, you weren't looking at the caliber, it replicates the 1022 essentially in looks and stuff, but it's the 44 caliber carbine. My whole family grew up hunting with that when I was a kid for deer season, because here locally we're in so much brush country that it is an excellent brush gun. The only thing about them is they are stinking expensive now. I'd have to look at the books and stuff, but I think you're gonna pay darn near $1,000 for one. You bought one in September? Yeah, what'd you pay for it? I don't think that's lamination. I think that's gunk. Canfield, Ohio show. I mean, maybe you can find deals on them, but boy, they're almost a collector piece now with a lot of guys. 900, that's what I figured. I was going to say. I mean, I said it before you even typed it. I said you're probably going to be darn near $1,000 for that gun now. No high D. But no, for years, I grew up as a competitive shooter as a kid, and then eventually grew into long range and essentially shot what is called the Palma competitions, which is 800, 900, and 1,000 yards. But I've kind of retired out of competitive shooting now, and my eyes are getting older. I just turned 50, and not that a lot of older guys don't do it and can't compete, but it was a grind being on the road all the time. And if you want to compete, you really got to put your time in if you want to have any chance at winning. And Coon Hunters Club. Ah. But I shot a lot of my 1,000-yard rifle was obviously a 308 Palma rifle. This has kind of got a cool. What do we think happened here? It's definitely like environmental. Wow. Or are we nah, we're not looking at late stage die deterioration, are we? Or is that somebody doing some acidy thing? It's a 90p. Yeah, so you and me are in the same boat. I mean, you got 10 years on me, so you know what I'm talking about. When, like I said, I would say about 5 years ago, I started really noticing the eyes start to go a little bit, especially being a competitive shooter. You know, I was aware of it. I don't think this last roll is going to have a hit, guys. I think we're going to go 4 for 5. We're down to 8, 10 coins maybe. And I don't see anything on the table that's sticking out as overly old. Maybe we can make a hit with a nice die chip, but I don't think we're going to do it on age. We're getting down there. I'm thinking we're gonna strike out on the last roll of the night. Billiards, yeah. I mean any type of sport like that where where eyes are the big part of it. As soon as you hit that 45 plus, this was probably the coin that gave us the chance as I was looking at the table, and it's not going to be a hit. 78. Well, we might have one more in here. The rest look pretty darn modern. Oh, there's a nice die chip, though. I won't call it a hit because I think I'm going to reserve hits for... I'm going to reserve hits for age, but look at that die chip. Somebody... I will list this on Whatnot, and I bet you some die chip collector will want that for $5. That's probably a $5 die chip. Let's see what else the coin's got. A lot of times you'll get that left side Monticello die chip, and you will have a die chip in the O too. Oh, look at that! It's a double. That's the first double I've ever had. I don't know if I've got a double building in the collection. I gotta focus this a little bit better for you guys on stream. So you could talk about that, but I think that's just smash damage. There ain't really nothing there. I mean, it'd be nice if the coin was in a little better shape. But there's that's a definite die chip. That's a humongous die chip in the world of Jefferson nickel die chip hunting. Let's look at the front. Maybe a lot of times you'll get them in the letters. I don't really see anything else. I mean, it's a beat up coin, but to come out with double, yeah, investable, it's a nice find. To come out with double side building die chip. A lot of times I'll find a die chip right here between the E and the R. So, I mean, there's an example of like I said, I was like, that stuck out just naked eye wise. I'm like, I didn't even see the one over here, but that's naked eye too, in all reality. So that's cool. You could call that a hit, but I'm not, because I'm going to reserve the hit button for years. $16. That's cool that I found that double building on stream. Might have to put that into the banger. I'll put that in the bangers cutout for the stream. Last one. 72. As I picked it up, I thought, well, maybe this one's old. But just a 72. All right. So there it is. This came out of the fifth. This is the double building die chip. Came out of the fifth roll. So we'll set it over here, but definitely four year hits. and then the 2 over there. So let's do a pack of cards and we'll end of the night. I got to get myself a cup of coffee here very soon. All right, let's see here. I think these are the packs that I have on hand right now. I think this is... I am in Minnesota and Wisconsin. I live in Minnesota, but our land that we own is in Wisconsin. So yeah, we can use high powered rifle. I'm guessing you're in a state or an area where you're restricted to like a shotgun season or something. All right, Investable. I think you're still here, and because you're one of the old OGs, give me a pack there, Investable. We have 3 footballs and 2 WNBAs because I am a little bit of a WNBA fan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got to pick up some Magic packs and some other stuff here at some point. And we are, even though I live in Minnesota, I grew up in Wisconsin, and I am a Packer fan. So on the football side, a Packer card is always a hit. .44 meg straight walled cartridge. Okay. Oh, Vestibles passing the pack pick to Ruger. And on the WNBA side, I'm more of an individual player fan than really a team. I'll pull for the Minnesota Lynx for the most part, but I have players on different teams that I actually pull for. So I'm not a diehard any one team like I am a Packer diehard fan. Investable knows that. Just give me what I got down here? 5? 1 through 5. Whatever one you want to see opened. I usually end the stream with a pack of cards, if I think of it anyways, and I have any packs on hand. But I've got a pretty good supply of packs right now. Center. So that I'm taking that would be the Revolution. Lower chance at a Packer card because 4 cards per pack. But these are really nice looking cards. If you're a card guy. They are. And you can get some pretty nice hits. Panther on the back. Cedric Tillman from the Browns. Darius Davis from the Chargers. I don't really know either of these guys. And a Titaroria McMillan. I think this is a rookie. From the... See the Panthers? Yeah, the Panthers on a Futures rookie card. I don't know. That name don't stick out to me either. And there's the Trevor Etienne. So, nothing huge. I mean, I don't think this guy ended up being a big factor this year for the Panthers. At least his name doesn't ring a bell. Is it numbered? No, it's not numbered. So, all right. Well, there's the pack. To end the night, I gotta go get something to drink. I appreciate everybody hanging out for what'd we do tonight? An hour and a half. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. So an hour and a half, and I got through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rolls. I'm gonna probably up it to like a 10 roll stream, but we'll see. I don't know. Probably the coin of the night. I mean, I don't know how you don't call silver the coin of the night. Hey, thanks for hanging out there, Jimmy. It was fun. Investable like always. You're one of the OGs for sure. I don't know if Silver Selling Machine's still hanging out, but if you are, thanks for hanging out. J6 Metals was here earlier. Who am I missing? Nobody? I think it was kind of a quiet stream as far as people popping in tonight. Like I said, I appreciate it. I'm going to rip a couple of the hits out of here for... Oh, Silver Selling's still here. Well, then you heard me say thanks for hanging out. It was... I had fun. See, this is what I have fun doing. You know, much more than like making a YouTube video. Rather, obviously, I'm going to rip out the hits. I'm going to make a bangers video that'll be a 2 or 3 minute thing. Last year, collected cards was 93. Wow. Yeah. I'm a bigger coin collector than I am card, but I do like cards, and I'm comics too, but you just don't see a whole lot of comics from me on YouTube or whatnot really. My comics are kind of just my thing. I actually read them. I cover buy, if you know what comic collecting is. I do a lot of cover buying, but I am also I enjoy a good read, so. But like I was saying, I enjoy doing this, you know, hanging out for an hour, hour and a half, cracking some coin rolls, doing a little bit of coin roll hunting, and you know, like you hung out, Root Jimmy, Silver Selling Machine, Investables, and just shooting the BS. You know, that to me is pretty cool. I think I still have the beginning. What is it, a channel video or something up on the main page where I was kind of explaining I ain't never going to be about subscribers and, you know, getting to 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize. I ain't never going to hit that. I'd rather hang out with some good conversation and have some fun for an hour or so and get a couple hits out of a couple coin rolls. So thanks for hanging out, guys. We will talk to you. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll fire up an hour or a couple rolls tomorrow. Sometime in the morning. Or maybe it'll be an evening one again. I don't keep a schedule. See, that's the other thing, is my channel's not consistent enough to really grow. It's kind of neat that you kind of caught my channel from my comments on Two Sheds. In fact, I think he just released one today that I'm probably going to sit down and have coffee and have on here now when I log off of here. Two Sheds is definitely probably one of my favorite coin roll hunters to watch. He doesn't try to make it, you know, you said he's down to earth earlier, but he doesn't try to like produce a what we would say is like a really high quality produced edited video. I mean, he does some good stuff because he has those little things that pop up in the video and stuff, and uh, you have some little graphics and stuff. A lot of that type of stuff I don't know how to do, but it's just he just puts on a good watch, I will say. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Hey, Investable, thanks for hanging out like always. Everybody, take it easy. Have a good night. Stay safe. Be well.